Hello everybody, this is Adrian back with another chess video, and um, I thought I would go over this game for a short video. I'm not feeling so well today, so I'm going to do my best to record a short video of a recent game that I played um, just now, and because I thought it was interesting. I played white. We get a classical Caro-Kann. This is the Tartakower version, or Tartakower version, depending on what pronunciation you like. So this is the deemed more appropriate as it gets. Um, it frees the bishops out a bit more. I played c3. Basically, I want to play bishop d3, but I'm hanging my pawn. So I'm playing c3 first. I don't want to commit the knight to f3 because then I have pins, so that are kind of awkward to deal with the rest of the game. So I really want my knight here, but now I'm blocking my bishop, so c3 actually prepares that maneuver. 82. It also prevents the rook. For example, if I play here, suddenly there's a big threat, and I'm having to defend like this, and suddenly my position is not so good. I have to. My bishop looks trapped here almost. I have to play something like g3, which is a bit annoying. So that's why knight e2. Bishop here, I castle, rook here. So there's a pin here, knight to queen. So I decided to follow the pins must be broken and quickly played my queen to c2. Um, I thought about playing this way, but there's also these ideas which are still rather menacing. Um, and I didn't really like the look of that, so I just played queen c2 immediately. Um, develop with a threat, h6, and then I played bishop here just to free my rooks for combat. I don't play f3. I don't want to immediately. I don't want to. Even though I do gain a tempo, I don't want to compromise my king's safety so early. So he ended up taking here, which I don't think was correct at all. You want to keep your bishops, I think. Um, it's not, this active bishop is not worth a defensive knight. So I have two bishops pointing at this, and I didn't really know what else to do except just improve my position. I was just looking for ways to improve my position. I'm not sure why I did this. I think I wanted to play bishop f4, or even try to look at here, but I saw that it didn't actually work because the knight is actually controlling this square, and I don't really have this lift. So queen d2 didn't actually do anything. If I were to replay this again, I would play rook e2 instead and put my rook here. And that way, when he plays here, um, I'm ready for a fight. Basically, something like this. His knight is kind of defensive, and my bishops are quite active, and I can start. Um, I can start taking more space in the center also. So yeah, queen d2, not the worst move, but not the best move. A little dubious. This was an even bigger mistake though. Um, king, just sacrificing black's king safety over here for some reason. I don't know what the point is of this. Maybe he was preventing this, but there's literally no threat here. So there's no reason to prevent that, to prevent bishop h6 with g5 if there's no threat. So I took space in the center instead. This is a bit of a lackluster move, I think. Not as good. I think I would have preferred rook d8. This doesn't really do much because it allows white to control light squares. And I can try to get rid of my opponent's ideas. I can try to get rid of the queen, but that gives black another move to which he can also play queen f3 if he wants. So for example, let's say he makes an improving move with his horse or something. Let's say he makes an improving move with his horse, and then I played this. Well, I still have queen f3 here, and there's no discovery here. I just exchange queens and take back, and I now have these squares are kind of weak. Even though I have a late squared bishop, black is definitely resisting here. So I didn't want to play that direction. b6, b4, just taking more space on the queen side. Rook d8 is played, and then I played a3 to shore up my defenses. I wanted to like play something like this, and then play this and this at some point. I wasn't really sure what the plan was. All I knew is I was trying to move my queen to get away from but I'm defending this, so I defended a3 first. I defended with a3 first. I'm not sure. He strikes in the center. I capture. I push, allowing these squares to be a little unfortunate. Here would actually be a good plan for white to try to put his bishop on this diagonal, probably. That might actually have been a good idea. As well, I go for another plan. I activate my piece that's not doing anything, and then I attack this way. I'm trying to getting this pawn would be huge for me. 96. Notice that I can't capture very easily due to this pin. Capture, and this and then I actually have this capture. Then I don't know, maybe that did benefit me. I just didn't look that far into the position. I just didn't really yeah, maybe this was better for me. Oh, dang, I didn't even see that. Huh. It's actually really good. Okay. Instead I played here. I was actually going to try to capture here. I just didn't, yeah, looking for moves and then evaluating that my position is winning like that is a bit tough in a blitz game. Yeah, but I was actually doing better there. Capture. We bail out like this. Notice that this battery does nothing anymore. My king is still very safe. Since black doesn't have a light squared bishop anymore, I can play moves like g3 to blunt this attack. And now I'm just going to create a battery of my own and invade the the black king, and I don't really care about this pawn at all. I'm I lose a pawn, but I'm gaining so much more than that lost pawn. Um, I have a big threat against the opponent's king, which is worth more material than just a pawn. Just improve my pieces, going this way, and then he makes the final mistake or error of the match, which is here. You probably needed to just drop this pawn and just play back and just lose this. That's probably what needed to happen here. And just this, and just try to defend this, but really, black is collapsing very quickly here because I'm just going to capture here next, and let's say black resists. Actually, he doesn't want to trade queens like that. Let's say black resists, keeping control of his pawn. Well, suddenly, I have pawns that are very dangerous now, and he's probably going to have to exchange queens to alleviate the queen's pressure, because my queen is definitely better than his. Really, the only way to defend against this is just to exchange. And just accept that we're just inferior. And this pawn isn't really going anywhere. Because black has to now defend against this. And now I have another threat, which is d6, because I have a threat here. So, interesting stuff to look at. So bishop e5, why this is an error? Well, allows me to tactically exploit his king by queen g6. Queen g6 is a check. He cannot capture here. Well, first of all, he can't capture with his king because I'm defending with my bishop, and he can't capture this way because there's a pin. He would be in check from the rook. So the king now has to go to f8, which allowed me to checkmate my opponent, which was pretty cool. Pretty cool tactic. Let's go back. Let's go over the. So this is a Tartakower variation of the Caro-Kann. Very strong. c3, bishop d6. Knight on e2 is generally better than the knight on f3 in this line, due to the pressure that black has against the white king and queen along the e file and this diagonal. So knight e2, break the pin, and this is just not a good trade. Trading bishop, active bishop for defensive knight is not usually a good idea. Activate pieces, activate pieces, activate pieces, defend against threats. Don't compromise your king's safety if you do not have to. Notice that g3 is a good move here because I'm actively defending against a threat. It's now necessary to weaken the king slightly in a way that is advantageous for white. Notice that black has no light squared bishop, so these holes are not really a problem. And if they do become a problem, okay, white can just come back with his bishop and fill these gaps in space. But white is perfectly okay to play this way because of black's lack of light squared bishop. So do not sacrifice king safety. Let's just say black played a move, improving move. Well, this really isn't a threat because black is defending every single, all the squares that that would bring a checkmate about. And black is still defending very well, and defending against the rook lift. For example, let's say black plays rook e7. Okay, then, well, if I try to rook lift, he's just going to exchange immediately, and there's no rook lift anymore. And suddenly, yeah, suddenly we're going to have to do something else, and my attack has fizzled, and there's no real attack here. So yeah, don't defend against things that aren't really threats. Try to evaluate if this is an actual threat or not. In this case, it's not, and he kind of overreacted to my non-threat. So I took space in the center, take space in the center, or defended my center, or my space advantage here. Played c5. This way. It could have been argued that this is a little better, but the same position arises nonetheless. I just elected to keep the tension here, and I allowed my opponent the choice to capture this way to activate my rook. So I think this was the better way overall. And now I attack. Weakness. Isolated pawns are generally quite weak. He takes advantage of a pin, which is pretty cool. And I bring my guy back. I lose this pawn. In exchange, I get a threat along the light squares. The light squares have become very weak now, and I'm also threatening this guy too, but that's a lesser threat than this one. So black captures here, and then rather than capturing here, which would allow a defensive move from black, I decide to improve my piece, my rook, the last piece that's not doing anything, not joining in the attack. Notice how white's pieces are all active, and then black's pieces are a little passive. This guy is active, but you can't checkmate a king with just a queen. But these guys are inactive, and black collapses immediately under the pressure. Good game. So if you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.